Hello everybody, welcome to United Front. This is your Premier League predictions for 25-26 season. Um, we're going to do top 6 relegated individual awards such as Player of the Season, Golden Boot, Playmaker Awards, and Golden Glove, and I think that's about it. And obviously trophy winners. Let's start. Top 6. I'm going to start with 6. I think Newcastle. I think if you guys keep Isak, if he doesn't go Liverpool, then I think you guys have a chance in getting to European positions. I don't think Champions League, because I think the ones I'm going to name, which are probably most of you guys, they're going to be probably a bit better than Newcastle this season, despite obviously the signings they made, like Anthony Elanga. But I just think you look at Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and I've probably put United because I'm going to put United 5th. And look, I know I'm a United fan, but I was just seeing this and apparently we might finish shit. And then I thought to myself, you know what, I'm not surprised because where we finished last season, it's just kind of realistic to be where we are, in 8th. So fair enough, but look, I mean, we signed Sesko, we signed Cunha, we signed Embuemo. If we sign Baleba and Donnarumma, I just feel like, you know what, surely you have to get 5th now. I don't think, you can't just say it's not achievable. So I think probably Man United will probably be one of those teams where they'll get into European places, because don't forget, we're not in Europe, so you can put that whole focus on the Premier League, and look, us not being in Europe is kind of a positive in a way, because our league form probably in the past 2 seasons have been poor, finishing 8th, 15th. So us being not in Europe and fully focused on the league, I just think is great. So I think it gives us an advantage in finishing high this season. And look, obviously signings do count, but it's also how we perform this season. So yeah. 4-5 win with Chelsea, which is most people. I think their squad tells it, so I don't see why not. They could potentially finish higher, but that's just between how City play if they play badly. Where I put City now 3rd because look, I don't think they're. Look, I feel when it comes to Pep rebuilding teams, I think it takes time. I think it takes time for him to become that same dominant team that they were before. So I think they're going to finish 3rd, but I think they're going to be a better City, which obviously leaves 1st. And I went with Arsenal. And I thought, you know what, why not? Look, I can't bear witness to see Liverpool win 21. Look, I couldn't even handle 20, so how can I handle 21 now? But no, I think Arsenal might win it because, look, I've said this before. I said it. Arsenal were 2 attackers or a striker away from winning the league. And they did that by signing Gyökeres and Madueke. And you kind of feel like, surely not, You finally had the striker that Arsenal wanted. You got a prolific striker. And surely you have to finish probably winning the league. So... I think Liverpool will probably go behind in a way, because I think not only does it affect Arsenal's signings, but I think it affects Liverpool in the way of AFCON. Now, obviously, I think you guys have one player that's off, but that's Mo Salah. And losing Mo Salah, who's your most impactful player, I mean, there were probably ifs and buts last season if he had not played or got injured. But losing him in the AFCON, which is like, I think March or February, it's obviously a loss. And that's when you kind of get into the moment of title races happening. So obviously not having Salah is obviously a huge loss. And that's why I feel like it gives Arsenal the edge, because I'm just seeing Arsenal's full starting 11 that they would probably start against us, and I didn't see any African players, so I just think it gives Arsenal the edge. But that's my top 6. one that no one wants to talk about is relegation. Um, but mine's a bit interesting. I've only put one of the three promoted teams to stay up, and that's Leeds. Because I think it's going to be Burnley, Sunderland, despite the signings, and Brentford. Because of, like, I think losing the likes of Thomas Frank, which I'll go onto manager sacking, but I think losing Embuemo, probably Wissa, Norgard, Flecken, um, it's just a lot. And I think, they got the money, but it's about replacing those players with that same skill and quality. So that's the hardest part. But I just feel them staying up is going to be really hard, you know. And I think Leeds will do well because there's something about Leeds. I mean, when they came back in COVID season, they finished 8th, which was a bit of a surprise. Not saying they're going to do that, but I think they'll probably be better than Brentford. I think they'll just edge it. I think they'll just, you know, fight for the relegation, but, I think they'll stay up. And which obviously leads me to manager sacking, who gets first, I think is the Brentford manager. I think, look, losing Thomas Frank, going to Tottenham, I think it takes a whole effect on Brentford. It was just like, Liverpool losing Jurgen Klopp, and then obviously you saw what Slot made the masterclass. Now, you never know, maybe this manager, I think it was Thomas Frank's assistant manager, maybe he might keep them up. You never know. But as where I am right now, I don't see him trying to keep Brentford. And look, I don't think Brentford fans thinks he's probably the man to take them to keep them up. So I'd probably say he's sacked, and obviously I think Brentford will still get relegated. Individual awards. So for player of the season, I went with Saka because I think for Arsenal to win, if Arsenal do win it, surely I think probably Saka will be at least a contention for it. So I think if Arsenal do win it, it kind of gives Saka probably player of the season. Look, it could be probably Declan Rice, it could be Gyökeres because of his goals, but I think Saka, I think not only has he been reliable for Arsenal, but I think he's going to be more because again, you guys got Gyökeres, but you guys still want Saka as well as to be that same guy that can take you to winning the title. So for me, player of the season, it could be Mo Salah, but I just think, despite the season he could have again, I just think winning player of the season, it kind of has to do with, I think when Phil Foden won it, City won it that year, and he was absolutely amazing. Salah won it because of Liverpool winning it. So if I went with Arsenal winning the Premier League, I'd probably say Saka to win it. Golden Boot, I'm gonna go with Haaland. But I think top three surely Gyökeres because of I think if they're gonna go for the title, I think his goals are gonna be very key. I think, I think he'd probably be second or third, but I think he'll be very high. I think, for someone to compete with someone like Haaland is never going to be easy. I think Haaland had still a lot of goals, even when City was so poor. So, but I think Erling Haaland will do it again. Assist maker, I went with Saka again. I just think, look, I think, look, if you're going to be player of the season, I think that also goes down to stats. And I think, Saka from set pieces, his passing ability, I think finding Gyökeres, how many assists do you think he's going to get into Gyökeres? So I'd probably say Saka. There was obviously Mo Salah, but I don't know. I mean, it's between the two. I mean, it's a toss of a coin. But I'd probably say Saka. Golden Glove, I'm gonna say right now. I mean, honestly, you know what? It sounds like pro Arsenal at this moment, but I just think, for Arsenal to win it a Premier League, I mean, Raya has to do it again. Getting that Golden Glove. Obviously having a good defense in front of him, but you know, he still needs to be relied upon. Um, Obviously, saved Arsenal a lot of goals. And yeah, I think he's going to be reliable because of having less losses and probably a few draws because Arsenal did drew a lot. So I think that needs to be changed. But obviously, when them drawing, it could be 0-0. So you can go down to obviously, well, it has to be the attacking players. So yeah, um, trophy winners. Well, this is a bit tough. Well, let's start with the Champions League. I mean, do I go again? I mean, what? I'd probably say Real Madrid. I mean, I want to say PSG, but I think do they do it again? Because I think they're moving on Donnarumma. Do you think Chevalier will do well? So I'd probably say Real Madrid. I mean, it's just such a common answer, but I think probably they'll do it. I think Bayern's a shout. I think the business that they're doing, um, they could do very well. Um, but apart from that, I think if you look at from an English side of view, I think probably Liverpool have a chance as well. So you know, but I say Real Madrid. I think why not? I mean, I'm not gonna do conference because no one cares. I mean, if we're gonna do conference, I'll probably say Palace because apparently their their protest was failed, so they're still gonna be in the Conference League. Europa League, I'm gonna go with. Um, I'm gonna go with Aston Villa. I mean, again, a trifecta of. Not trifecta. I said Real Madrid. Um, I'm gonna go with another Premier League team because Unai Emery knows that competition well, so he knows what it takes to win in that competition. Again, he did it against us with Villarreal, so what makes you think he can't do it? Obviously, we've seen him do it in the Champions League, just falling short with obviously the best team in the world in PSG. But I think doing it against in the Europa League, I think why not? So yeah, FA Cup. I'm gonna go with Chelsea because look, obviously it starts in January, ends in May. But I mean, obviously they're gonna most likely gonna be playing teams that are not in the Premier League because their squad. I mean, their depth. I mean, they got more depth than a bloody Olympic swimming pool. So I mean, what's to say they can't not win that? So they got a lot of players. So probably a lot of players will be rested and a lot of players that will play in that competition. So yeah, Carabao Cup. Do you know what? I wanted to go with a different team, like probably Nottingham Forest, but now we're like, do you know what? Why not? I'd probably say Man United because I think look, it's the earliest competition that it starts, ends in late February or mid March. Um, and look, if there's one competition that probably United could put focus in, it's probably that. Obviously, for those that don't know, if you're a United fan, we do start in the second round, which obviously I think we play first two games and then we obviously have that match. Um, but I think, look, obviously, I think probably Amri would want a silverware. Look, I think I said fifth, but if we finish, anywhere below that, we get a trophy. I'll probably be, glad, but still want Champions League football. It's either finishing with a trophy, but not getting the top six, or finishing fifth. I don't mind it either way, but I still prefer fifth. So yeah, is there no? I mean, I said Conference League, Forest, but apart from that, no, I think that's about it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. That's my Premier League predictions. Obviously, gonna look back at it. Obviously cringe as well. To see what I got good and what I got bad. I mean, that's the thing about predictions. I mean, you're not gonna always get it right. But obviously, when you make predictions, it's what you think would happen at the time, and you felt like, you know what, it was gonna go that way, you know. Um, but obviously, it didn't go that way. Now, look, you could probably say Man United will probably finish in the top four, you know, last season, but we finished 15, which no one even even um even expected. Now, obviously, people are gonna think we're still gonna get relegated or whatever. Fair enough, but I still think we'll probably, you know, redemption season and come back. But yeah, but apart from that, thank you guys for watching. Take care. See you in the next one.